back to the presentation. So this is report number 3. This is the final report in the Medicare optimization trio. This is the i65 Medicare RoadMap. If I were to sum up this report in just one sentence, you take the fear out of Medicare enrollment. No sales bias, no fear. Here we go. That's what a Medicare roadmap is all about. But before I tell you what's inside of a Medicare roadmap, let me back up for 1 second. When it comes to actually enrolling in Medicare today, if you were to ask just about anybody, hey, what do you do for Medicare enrollment? What is Medicare enrollment? They're going to tell you in some way, shape, or form that Medicare enrollment is about picking plans. United Healthcare, Humana, Aetna, Blue Cross Blue Shield. Pick a plan. That's what people believe Medicare enrollment is all about. No. Heavens, no. Please, no. Medicare enrollment is actually a 6-step process. Choosing plans is just one of those 6 steps, and it's definitely not even the first step. If you were to ask me what the most important step or steps are in the Medicare enrollment process, I would hands down tell you it's the first 2 steps. The first 2 steps that are invisible to most people. It's timing of Medicare enrollment and selecting a type of coverage. Do you enroll in Medicare at age 65 or do you delay? I can't even begin to tell you the number of times people mess this up in a quite devastating way. These 2 steps are where the most permanent and costly Medicare mistakes are made. The i65 Medicare RoadMap report, this is what we do each and every day in these reports. Timing and type selection are at the heart of each one of these reports. If you want to help a client determine timing or type of coverage, the only other way to do it, quite frankly, is self-study. There is no other tool out there helping with this. It's a big deal. It's the place to do it. Then every roadmap report provides your clients with personalized Medicare guidance and step-by-step instructions for Medicare enrollment with no insurance sales. The Medicare roadmap reports are fiduciary documents. Use this report only when advised to through a needs assessment. Remember, in Medicare optimization, everything starts with a needs assessment. The needs assessment will tell you, hey, this client should be running a roadmap report. If it doesn't tell you that, the client is very likely not yet eligible for Medicare. Or the software might not be able to help them because their unique situation is too complex. In that case, it will make a consulting service recommendation, which again, you have the power to approve or decline. Either way, that needs assessment is going to be helpful to them. But you can only run the roadmap when advised through the needs assessment. So, all right, let's take a peek inside of this. The only way to run an i65 Medicare roadmap report is when a needs assessment says to do so. So we're going to start and run a needs assessment once again, very quickly, for a client in her IEP, her initial enrollment period. All right, so are you a citizen? Yes. What's your marital status? I'll say she is married. You've worked and paid taxes. She was not eligible for Medicare before the age of 65, and she currently has an employer health plan related to her spouse's current employment. Which of the following best describe this situation? She basically needs help determining if she can keep her coverage or if she has to get rid of it and go into Medicare. She just needs help understanding what to do with her coverage. Are your parents still alive? We'll say they're deceased and that she has no dependents. All right, we'll go ahead, complete the assessment. So this time you'll notice that yes, it is recommending the i65 software and the iEstimate. So we'll go ahead and just approve those. We're going to do nothing, and we're going to get started right away with the i65 Medicare roadmap. So we're going to go ahead and get this started. So I highly recommend going through the process of creating a Medicare roadmap with your client. the I65 Medicare RoadMap questioning process is not a Facebook quiz. We live in the era of like, which Disney princess are you? Facebook quizzes, right? And the goal is to get through the questions as fast as possible to learn that, hey, I'm Ariel, the Little Mermaid, or I'm Minnie Mouse, or I'm Snow White, or whatever the Disney princess is. That is not how this works. You do not want to run through the questions as fast as possible simply to get to the end result. You'll see why in just a second. So if you are guiding the client, it is the best thing possible because you are ensuring that they are getting the information they need through the process of answering questions. Are you receiving Social Security benefits? It also empowers you to have other financial planning conversations like Social Security timing. So I'll say no, I've not started receiving benefits, and no, I don't plan to enroll in Social Security at this time. Does the company that sponsors the group health plan have 20 or more employees? I will say that it does. It's a large employer. Now, if your client is running through this on their own and thinking that it's a Facebook quiz, they don't read this. Bad. Boo. Compare your coverage to Medicare. Use this tool. Why? You are able to keep your current health insurance sponsored by a company with 20 or more employees. But then the question becomes, should you? Because you also have the opportunity to drop this coverage and fully enroll in Medicare. So which option's best for you? This tool will help you make that determination. And of course, I just skipped it because why not? I'm going to go back and grab that tool. Sorry, pushed the wrong button. All right, so large employer plan. There are different tools depending on whether or not it's a large employer, a small employer, if it's a retiree plan, if it's a federal employee health benefits plan, different tools for each one of those scenarios. This tool is all about creating an apples to apples comparison. So go ahead, put the portion of the monthly plan premium in. If the coverage includes dental or vision coverage, put an amount in on the Medicare side because Medicare doesn't cover dental or vision. Original Medicare doesn't. If they're going to be subject to higher Medicare premiums, put that amount in. Put the amount for the Part D prescription drug premium and the Medigap premium. If you don't know what those are, go ahead and leave the national averages in. Estimate the total out-of-pocket costs on the employer plan in the previous year. Do you have dependents on the plan that would need to get different coverage? Do you make contributions to a health savings account? All of these factors add up to a bottom line comparison. And this is a really powerful comparison because without a tool like this, you're in assumption land. People are simply assuming, well, I have a coverage from my large employer, so it has to be better, right? Not always right. No, assumptions are bad in Medicare. All right, so let's say we did that tool. Now we found out, you know what? It's actually a lot more expensive to remain on the employer plan. So let's go fully with Medicare. All right, but before I do that and I answer B, let me just pause and tell you, even if your client were to fully delay Medicare, remain on the employer plan, and do nothing with Medicare, everybody who goes through the RoadMap report process gets a roadmap with step-by-step instructions specific to their unique situation. Especially for clients who are delaying Medicare, they're super concerned about late enrollment penalties. They're going to hear on just about every commercial or every direct mail piece, if you don't enroll right away at age 65, you're going to have penalties. No, that's not true. So the roadmap gives them peace of mind that they are okay. It's a very powerful tool. In this case, though, I'm going to say no. I've decided not to continue with this plan. I'm going to fully do Medicare. All right, so Medicare will be your only coverage. So I need you to go through this content with your client because it's basically telling them now they have to pick a type of coverage. And this is a very important decision because depending on where they live, no, they may not be able to change the type of coverage that they have later in life. That too is a myth. There are so many Medicare myths. Don't get me started. So go through this with your client. Make sure they read it. Then we are now going to go through and help them make the coverage type determination. Do you typically spend considerable time at another location in the U.S.? I'll say, yeah, sure. Why not? Which of the following best describes your health? I'm once again going to go middle of the road. When it comes to managing your finances, which do you prefer? I'm going to say I want considerably reduced monthly premiums that can come with the risk for greater and maybe unpredictable out-of-pocket costs. Have you been hospitalized at all in the last 2 years? I'll say no. Could you afford getting bills of $1,500 or more? Well, I'm working with a financial advisor, so yes, I could. How important is it to keep and or choose your physicians? I will say very important. So now I'm going to go ahead and say those are my answers, and the system's going to start making some recommendations as to the type of coverage that would be best for me, and then provides me with the all-important why. Don't just take our word for it. Don't do that. Actually learn why we recommended that type of coverage. Then, when the client is able to make a decision for the first time, again, don't take our word for it. Don't take our recommendation. Actually work with the client to understand what their other coverage option might be like. So I'm going to hit B. And it will go through then whatever the other coverage that wasn't recommended is like, how it works, and maybe why it wasn't recommended. Very, very important information to go through with your client. Clients get a very strong sense of, oh, that's how that works. Okay, well, I want, and they fill in the blank there. It's very rare that a client comes out of this not understanding what they want. So I'm going to say, I'm going to pick a Medicare Advantage plan. All right, so now I'm going to complete the roadmap, download the report, and I will show you what's inside of a Medicare roadmap report. So here we go. We're going to be running this one. Let's do the Jeopardy. Okay, here we go. So this is the Medicare roadmap report for Annie. Annie lives in California and she's in her IEP. First page, again, your contact information because you're looking at a referral document. And then page 2, if you have any insurance agents you trust your clients to work with to make specific plan recommendations, Humana, United Healthcare, Aetna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, etc., you can put their contact information into client reports. If you don't have one, that's okay. You can leave it blank. Government resources are still always here. You can create a custom roadmap page. So include more information about your company, next steps in the retirement planning process. Heck, you can even put a picture of a gopher saying hi in your roadmaps. I don't know why you would do that, but you could. And then it reiterates how questions were answered, includes their specific initial enrollment period. When do they get enrolled in Medicare, and when will Medicare coverage begin? And very specific step-by-step Medicare enrollment instructions specific to this client's unique needs. So enroll in Part A and Part B, establish an account online, and answer the following questions as indicated. Yes, 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 yes. Then notify the plan administrator that you're going to discontinue coverage. Select and enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan. I'm going to pause here. Roadmaps are designed to be fiduciary documents. They do not make specific plan recommendations. That's why we empower you to do one of 3 things. First, if you trust an insurance agent to work with your clients, you can white label in their contact information so that they can help them pick the best plan for them in their local area. Secondly, if you don't have an insurance agent that you trust, there's a resources section in I65. Let me show you the resources section. In this resources section, there are all sorts of tools and resources, including, for example, state-specific Medigap guides. All of the states have specific Medigap rules. We make purchasing guides available that are state specific. These are really helpful, and they include comparison worksheets to help your clients make plan selections. So there's a lot of resources in here to help clients pick specific plans for their unique needs. Finally, if you don't want to help your client make specific plan selections, or you don't want them to self-service, we also provide services through our parent company, i65 Incorporated. Through this, you can order specific plan selection services. You don't have to do this. You don't ever have to order a service. We don't make you do that. If you want to do that, you absolutely can, but you do not have to. So, one of 3 options will help take care of this for you. Let me go back to the report. All right, so now pay attention to your medical and drug costs and coverage throughout the year for open enrollment. Okay, so original Medicare and Medicare Advantage, which factors influenced your path decision? It goes through these different things. It also goes through different ways to get enrolled in Medicare. How do you get a replacement Medicare card if you ever lose yours? How to pick a Medicare Advantage plan, understanding the types and features of various plans. It also goes through drug coverage. What's the notorious donut hole all about? And open enrollment. What is open enrollment? Why is it important? When is it? What do I do during it? So it's a very lifetime document with all sorts of valuable information for your client as they live with Medicare. Also, one other thing, if your client is going to be subject to IRMA, there is an IRMA section about this as well. So there you go, RoadMap report. Oh, one more thing. At the very, very, very end, yes, you do have the power to add your own amazing disclaimer. So that's an i65 Medicare RoadMap report.